All right, welcome back to class. Today, right now, we're going to do a very quick 2-minute, 3-minute format. I don't know, and it always ends up being 20-minute. Class looking at one verb in particular. This verb is a special verb. I'll might as well put it here first. The verb feel. Okay, so what's so special about this verb? Well, this is the only verb that in the present and in the present continuous, they both represent now. So, and where the fuck is my page? All right, so we know we can express the world in two ways. Verb to be, which verb to be is always related to adjectives and nouns. But verb to be, we can say as well, is our either us describing the result of something, whereas verb to do is always the process. And so verb to do is us describing an object being manipulated in time and space. But with feel, it's interesting. Feel is us as describing our state, verb to be, but with verb to do. What do you mean, Kian? Stop making this sound so complex. All right, so I can say, for example, I am sick, verb to be. This represents now, actually now. Well, I can also say, I feel sick. So this is me describing my, is it interioception? I think it's called interioception. It's probably not. Fuck, why haven't I used that word in so long? Fuck it. But it's describing my internal state. I'm describing, me. But I'm doing it in verb to be, which we know. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm confused, I'm infuriated. With verb to be, we can describe that quite easily. But with verb to do, we can also do it. I feel sick. But here's the thing. I can also say, I'm feeling sick. And so this is a strange thing about the verb feel, that in the present, in the simple present, it represents absolute now. So we know, let's look at another verb and say, well, I teach John. We'll say in this scenario, or we'll say, well, I'm teaching John. So present continuous, without any time. With time, it always represents the future. But the present continuous as it is, there is two versions of the present. This is where my 2-minute class turns into a 20-minute lecture and things that have nothing to do with English. For example, my son is a 9-year-old monster. This is me trying to draw. My little monsterino, my little boy. He's 9 years old. For him, when I talk about like now, where's the fucking word now? Now, to him, the present is absolutely right now. He has no abstract mind, which means my son is a reactive creature. If you ask him, do you have homework? He will respond, yes, I do. His brain will give the answer. But my son doesn't walk around thinking about all the things he has to do, he should do, he could do, he ought to do, he had better do, he's going to do, he will do. No. You don't develop an abstract mind until you start to go through puberty. And you don't really develop an abstract mind until your 20s. By your 30s, it becomes an echo chamber of doubt and indecision consistently, where inside your head the words, I don't really know what I'm going to do. It starts pinging and bouncing around rapidly. Maybe I'm not as good as what I think I am. Those things echo. And so for my son, his idea or his mind, he wears like a skin. The present is a t-shirt that he wears around his mind. He lives in the present. So if I ask him, what are you doing at the moment? His answer to that is, I'm listening to you, stupid. He doesn't call me stupid. Nah, he does. I'm listening to you, Mr. Cool, whatever the fuck. But that's, for my son, his answer is absolutely, thank you, Google. You didn't decide for that one, did you? His answer is absolutely in the present. I'm listening to you. I'm talking to you. Whereas if you ask me that question, hey, Kian, what are you doing at the moment? Who, me? I'm writing a novel about neural chips. I'm working terribly on my YouTube channel, doing some classes. I'm working a lot. I'm teaching a lot. I'm teaching 12 classes per day. I'm teaching 6 days a week. I'm balancing out my exercise. I'm spending every waking second with my monsters. I'm spending as much chill quality time with my kids as possible. So, but this is not right now. Why? Well, because if I look here, now to me is always 9 months. So different to my son, this is my version of now. So this is his big goofy dad who doesn't have a proper body. So when I think about now, to me now is always 9 months. Always. Why? Well, to me, that's the time it takes to write a novel. 9 months on average, at least for the last 7 or 8 years, is the time it takes for me to write one novel. So when I start a novel, I don't see any friends. I have no social life. I'm not interested in anything else that's in the world at all because I have to write this novel. So every spare second that I'm not running, practicing yoga or lifting weights, or that I'm not with my kids, or that I'm not doing these classes for you kind folks, then I'm writing. And I'm thinking about writing. It's the only thing that occupies my mind is the story that I have to write. And so that's 9 months. And so for me, 9 months is now. So we know, depending on you, there's a different version of now. The younger you are, the smaller that little bubble is, because you're always changing, you're always brand new, you're always working on so many little things. Now is a little faster. Like I said, for my daughter, who's 12, now might be just a little bit bigger than my son, but not too much bigger, because once again, she doesn't really have, she's developing an abstract mind and an abstract sense of self, where someone has that, where they can turn off a TV and just sit there staring at a wall and they're entertained. Inside their abstract mind, they can go through the could haves, should haves, would haves of their past or their future. Or they can just watch their favorite movie over and over and over again in their thoughts. And that favorite movie is all the things that will go wrong if I do this next project, whatever it may be. We can express now in different ways. So when I come back up here, sure, I'm doing something like, for example, I'm teaching John. In general, could be a truth about John. Like I teach John, the simple present is just a fact. It's not, we get to routine when we say, for example, I teach John on Mondays. Now we get to routine. We did a lesson like this in the past. If you want to see more of this, there's a video there that is like, I think it's like the past equals the future, what the fuck? Where I look at how models represent, not the future, but every model represents how we feel about the future in the present. That there is no such thing as future grammar, because there is no such thing as a future. It's an abstract concept in your mind. And how grammar allows us to build these kind of abstract worlds in our imagination and tell another person so they can have that same picture inside their head, and we can both meet on Monday to have a class or to build a hot air balloon, whatever it might be. But either way, let's erase this little routine here, and we'll say that I teach John as a fact, but it's not the present. It is, but the present represents the future. If you tell me that you work, even if we leave this here, I teach John on Mondays. This routine tells me not about today, it tells me about next Monday, and the Monday after, and the Monday after, and the Monday after. The simple present allows me to predict the future. That's the whole point of the present, to help you predict the future, because that's all you're doing in life is as you try to predict the future, you're overwhelmed by the past. Ironies. But I am teaching John. We could be talking about at the moment, knowing that the classes will end. Maybe he's doing an IELTS preparation and the classes will end in a short period of time, whatever it may be. But we know that there's a difference between the two. Let's pretend this is now. So you're John and I'm teaching John. All right, so, but there's a difference between I'm teaching you and I teach you. One is a fact, the other is describing this moment right here, right now. But with I feel, it's magic. I feel sick. The simple present, it should be just a fact. It is. I don't know if I can tell you, I feel sick. But instead, it represents now. So ideally, I should say, oh man, I'm feeling sick. But we don't. We go straight for the jugular. I feel sick. I don't feel so good. So that's it. I don't feel so good. We're not going to say I am not so good, because the answer to that is, at what? Why are you being so negative? We don't do that. So I can say, for example, I am sick, I'm nauseous, I'm this, that. But with feel, all of a sudden we have more freedom to be a little more creative with the verbs. And this is something that we'll do a lot. You know, I don't feel good. I don't feel so good. Or, for example, we say, ugh, I feel like shit. Everyone knows, like with a hangover. Well, I mean, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol for nearly 2 years, so that's just me saying I'm better than you. But my last hangover was when I was, I think, 40. That was when I quit booze. And a hangover at 40, ugh, it's a horrible experience. It is an existentially heavy experience. And nothing says it better than these 4 words. I feel like shit. And which can be expressed when your friend looks at you and says, well, you look like shit. And so with feel, ignoring the look like, you know, this is obviously a comparative. I feel like this, I feel like that. We can also say, I don't feel like doing something. For example, what do you feel like doing? I feel like watching a lecture. I feel like, what do I feel like doing? Well, geez, a minute ago, I was like, yeah, I feel like recording a class for these wonderful people who may or may not exist, but exist when they exist and do not exist when they do not exist. For example, in this moment, you did not exist. But now that you're here, you exist and I am gone. What a strange dilemma we find ourselves in. That's it. That's feel. Feel's interesting. So feel is it's a way that we can do with I am. But for example, we're not going to. But there are certain circumstances. For example, yay, I'm happy. We're going to say I feel happy. You could, you can, if you want to. There's no problems. It's just, yeah, I'm happy is a lot better. But for example, maybe I feel sad is better than I am sad. Because I am sad is a declaration. I feel sad is us exploring that emotion as if we are, it's not subtle actually, but it's hard to rationalize very easily the difference between the two. First of all, I don't like verb to be. I don't like bold declarations of I am. I feel is instead of saying, for example, I am sad. No, you're not. You're John, you're Mary, you're Peter, you're Paul, you're Ringo. You are, like, I am Dad, but I'm also Kian, I'm also Sian, I'm also Sean McGee. If you've read my books, I'm one thing. If you've been in my classes, I'm another. I am not my own name because everybody pronounces my name differently. I am not. But to say that I am sad, I'm not an emotion. No, I feel emotions. You know, I am not my thoughts. I am not, first of all, my brain. It's not I think, therefore I am. No, Mr. Descartes. It is, I have a brain and it thinks. I experience a brain thinking. Therefore, I experience myself thinking, I think that I am, but I am not. Whereas, so that was a very confusing introduction to just simply me explaining the feeling, and I am. So I can tell you I am sad, I am happy, or I'm nervous, or this type of thing. But if I express it with I feel, well, I'm telling you I am not the emotion, but I am experiencing an emotion. And so I feel allows me to tell you about those sometimes heavy and dark emotions, or like with sick, physiological experiences that we are going through right now. So feel allows you to be more logical, more rational about an emotion. Usually heavy emotions, because happy, we're happy when we're happy to say I'm happy. That was fucking great. I'm happy to say I'm happy when I'm happy, but when I'm sad, I'm not. I want to tell you how I feel. And that might be it. I mean, isn't those magical words in therapy? Well, how do you feel about that? And so that's it. The difference between feel and feeling. Fuck, where is it? Feel and feeling. That's it. No difference. Identical. And it's the only, unless you point out a difference and make me feel stupid. Haha, feel. But I'm not going to say I am stupid. Fuck you. How dare you try to make me be that way when I feel that way? As far as I know, in my discovery of language, from 15 years of teaching, from 10 years of writing fucking fiction every day, from 22 novels, from, what else have I done in my life? Well, from years of rock music and writing lyrics for bands and being in my own bands, and from being a human being that's been alive almost 43 years, but looking at language along the way thinking, what the fuck is this? This is the only verb I've seen that does this. It's an interesting one. It's an important one, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of freaky. There are these little, what do you call them? What do the kids call them today? Easter eggs throughout language. There are tons of these little things that are hidden that to all of us, we're not aware of language. We just speak, we react. And most of our language is pretty shitty. The way most people talk is really uninteresting. It's very surface level, and it's reactionary. It really is like poor descriptions and talking about kind of inconsequential, shitty things. We could all be better at storytelling. We really could. You have the ability, when you're talking to a person, to make them feel any way you want to make them feel. You can make a person smile because their mind is a theater waiting for you to fill with props and protagonists and antagonists and a story and a plot and dialogue and all of this. And as you tell them their story, their mind can become alive with this incredible, emotionally enrapturing fucking adjectives story that completely bestills them. Or you can say, today there was this car that fucking was flashing its lights by. So either you can make them feel amazing and any emotion you want, or you can just talk about ordinary things. You can talk about how shitty your day was. You can talk about things that offended you. Today I heard someone say the word fuck. Oh, I was disgraced and dishonored. It brought up all those times my mother slapped me on the back of the ear when I said dirty words. You can talk about anything you want. You can make people feel anything you want. You can make them feel inspired. You can make them feel engaged. You can make them feel important and visible, as if they matter. That's the beautiful thing about words. When people say this sentence here, and I fucking hate this sentence. I just gotta say one more time. I fucking hate this sentence, which is when people say, for example, a picture paints 1,000 words. As if words are meaningless. Now, in most cases they are, because in most cases people just talk about surface level, inconsequential, boring shit. Small talk. You know, small talk is, I get, it's the fine threads of which relationships are built. And it's what holds communities together. Talking about the weather, football, Bolsonaro, whatever the fuck. Things I don't care too much for. But in reality, a picture may paint 1,000 words, but 50 good words, well, that'll put a theater inside someone's mind. It'll make a movie in their minds. And a picture is good. A movie's better. It is. Moving pictures, amazing. Beautiful. Why do you think like now you have these art galleries in Europe that are creating like the Van Goghs that you can walk inside and be surrounded by? Because that's what we want, is to walk into that portrait. We want to walk into the frame. We want to be a part of the picture. And each and every person has that mind that allows them to be inside the frame. And so you, with 50 good words, can put a person inside that picture. A picture paints 1,000 words. Get the fuck out of here. Every piece of art is important if we know how to do it properly. And words are beautiful when they're used to make magic inside people's minds, when they're used not for mediocrity, when they're used to paint, right? When they're used not just to paint, but to make people feel. See, I came back to the word feel. I planned that. Absolutely not. If you've gotten to this point of the video, and if you've seen any of my other videos, I must say that I walked to my kitchen about however many minutes ago, and I thought, oh, fuck. I should make a video on feel and app. I should really write down some notes so I'm not doing this blindly, and I'm not saying the word fuck 50 times throughout the video. And I don't. I come in, I press record, and I start. So what you see here is just always off the cuff. There's a word for you. Here's an expression. See, this is how we get expressions. You can't plan for expressions. They come to you. This is off the cuff. What is the cuff? The cuff is the part of your shirt, or a shirt if you own a shirt, where you button up, where your wrist is. That's why the little buttons are also sometimes called cufflings, because the cuff is that part there. So off the cuff means an idea just comes to you. You know, and inside that moment when we do things, we become inspired. I'm not the type of person who can work with a plan. You ask my students this. I'm the type of person where we get in, we record, we don't edit, because we don't have the patience, in all honesty. And then maybe every now and then magic happens. And maybe every now and then we say the word fuck. But that's it. Is it? Yeah, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. Feel and feeling, the exact same thing. Magic inside language, which relates to I am. I'm finishing the video now. Does that mean I can say I feel myself finishing? Well, I feel myself coming to the end of this video.